In the football world, there are 7 players who perfectly fit the description of the 7 heavenly virtues. And the one we are going to begin with is diligence. No other player represents this virtue better than Cristiano Ronaldo. Diligence is described as steady, earnest and energetic effort, devoted painstaking work and application to accomplish a goal. It is also described as persistent exertion of body and mind. And if there is one thing Cristiano Ronaldo is known for, it's hard work. Ever since the beginning of his career, he believed that talent is a footballer's most important trait, but without hard work you can't get anywhere. From his Instagram posts, we can safely assume that he hits the gym every day. In many interviews, Ronaldo revealed his daily routine, which perfectly shows why he represents this virtue. Ronaldo works out every day for at least 3 to 4 hours. He takes 5 naps per day, he doesn't drink alcohol, he avoids fatty foods and sweets, while having cheat days very rarely. But this story, told by Patrice Evra about Cristiano Ronaldo, portrays his dedication way better than I can.
Guys, I've got a true story. And this true story is about me and my relationship with Cristiano Ronaldo. This guy is just a winner, he's just a machine. And this story is when he invited me at lunch after the training session. So he said, Patrice, let's go to my house. You know, I was like, okay, I was really excited. Let's have some like good food, you know, proper food. We had a hard training session. When I arrived, the table was already, you know, salad, plain chicken, water, no bread, or, you know, no baguette like the French, we love it, nothing. I want a piece of chicken. We start eating and I was like, okay, maybe, you know, the main course is coming or something is coming. Nothing. He said, let's stand up, let's play 2-touch in his garden. So we start to play football in his garden. And I start to think, this is like a really weird, you know, kind of lunch. So after that, he said, let's go swimming. I said, okay, Cristiano, you know, we just finished eating. I don't want to vomit in your pool. And we start swimming, like really slow. And he was like swimming, like, I think he was like doing like the Olympic. Anyway, after that, he said, actually, let's go to the sauna. I said, wait a minute, Cristiano, you know. I respect you, I love you, but you say like we're going to have a nice lunch. I just feel like we had a second training session. I will never come again to your house. And he start laughing and everything. You should tell me. I said, no, but you know, I am your guest. You should treat me better next time. So I won't go again to his house until he swear he's gonna treat me like a king.
So I guess he just doesn't like losing. However, one virtue Ronaldo certainly doesn't have is prudence, which translates to care of and moderation of money, skill and good judgment in the use of resources. Essentially, this means saving money and using them wisely, and to never waste resources for one's pleasure or abstinence from things which are not needed. And so, the next footballer on the list is N'Golo Kante. Although he is also very hard-working, Kante is mostly renowned for his simplicity and way of living. While he is very rich, having a net worth of $30 million, he doesn't waste money or spend it when it's not necessary. One case demonstrates why he deserves this virtue attached to his name. Once, Kante had a $20,000 Mini Cooper, which he was driving every day to training. At that time, he was earning £300,000 per week. Yet, he loved his Mini Cooper so much that after crashing into a lorry in January 2018, he still turned up to a match with the damaged car. Days later, he still turned up to training in the same damaged car. But that's not all. After Chelsea reached the Champions League final in 2021, Kante had an incredible performance, being on top of the world. Following the match, however, he was seen leaving Stamford Bridge driving the same Mini Cooper he crashed in 2018. In another instance, he was seen and photographed riding a mountain bike through the woods with his French teammates, showing no shame in riding something as simple as a bike. Just look at him and his smile. Lovely. Regardless of how perfect the virtue of charity fits with Kante, there is someone else who is well known for his donations and charity actions. Marcus Rashford. Subsequently, the virtue of charity can be understood as the act of giving to those in need, without expecting anything in return. It reflects a selfless concern for the well-being of others. Primarily, in our example, the donation of money is the main act of caring for others in needs. We are going to begin with Rashford's donations that started in 2020. When he became the ambassador of Fair Share in March 2020, at the start of the COVID-19 outbreak. Planning for the consequences of the pandemic on vulnerable communities, Rashford launched a campaign to make sure children eligible for free school meals were fed regularly when schools were shutting down due to lockdown. Moreover, as the ambassador of Fair Share, Rashford triggered an estimated £20 million of additional donations to the food poverty charity. This gives him a giving index of 125, as £20 million represent 125% of his net worth of $16 million. Relevant to this virtue is patience. Cause what's the point of being charitable if you don't have any patience to build beautiful things? And the player that represents this virtue perfectly is Jamie Vardy. To sum it up, patience represents the level of endurance one can have before negativity. It is also the ability to accept delays or misfortune without becoming annoyed or anxious. It's the showing of self-control and tolerance when under strain. Vardy embodies this virtue, as his journey to becoming a professional footballer was a challenging one, full of obstacles. But he never gave up regardless of the tribulations. He made it pro when he was already 27 years old, and not long after he won the Premier League with Leicester. By his 25th birthday in 2012, Jamie Vardy was still playing non-league football for Fleetwood Town. It was only in the summer of 2012 that he made his move to Leicester City, who were then an EFL Championship side. But even then, his dream wasn't fully achieved, as after 2 seasons in England's second tier, he finally was playing in the Premier League at the age of 27. Additionally, I could even argue that he displayed the virtue of patience by staying at Leicester until they won a major title, and even beyond that. By the time he was 28 years old, nobody believed that Leicester would ever win the Premier League, except Vardy, so he stayed and he won the title. And as many would describe this event, that was a miracle. Vardy stayed and won in the end. That's what the virtue of patience can bring to the ones possessing it. However, one virtue Vardy certainly doesn't possess is humility. And here comes the next footballer on the list, Lionel Messi. In comparison with the other virtues, this one is more complex and it includes more traits. The virtue of humility is marked by traits such as modesty, openness to learning, respect for others, gratitude, and service. Overall, humility represents an approach to life with a sense of humbleness and gratitude. And Messi proved that he has this trait on a couple of occasions. He is the greatest player of all time, no doubt, but despite this, he always takes time to take photos with his fans, and he always gives them attention. After all, they are the ones supporting him and sacrificing everything just to see a match of football. Some footballers forget about this sometimes. Additionally, Messi never brags about being the best or comparing himself with the other top players. On one occasion, he said this: "I never said I'm the best in history, nor do I try to push that perception of myself. For me, being considered by others as one of the best in history is more than enough." And he doesn't only say words, he also acts humble. No matter how many times he gets pushed, fooled, or forced, he never dives. He always makes sure to help those in need and give credit where it's due. And to perfectly showcase how humble he really is, in 2014 someone took a photo of him cleaning his own boots after a friendly between Argentina and Croatia. This image was used by Manchester United in their dressing room at the academy with this message: "If Lionel Messi is not too big to clean his boots, then you can clean yours as well." That's what every young player should be reminded of. And this photograph hanging on the wall in the dressing room certainly helps. Moving on, the next virtue represented by a footballer is chastity, and the footballer who possesses this virtue is none other than Andres Iniesta. But why, you may ask yourselves? Well, we must first understand what the virtue of chastity really means. In summary, chastity represents refraining from doing certain activities, the state of being pure, conforming to socially accepted standards of behavior, and of course self-discipline, which is the ability to control one's own actions, desires, and most importantly, impulses. The virtue of chastity perfectly describes Iniesta, because in his entire football career, he has never been sent off, not even once. He always abstains from taking action when he is angry. Iniesta always keeps silent when referees make mistakes. And if you watched Iniesta play, you know that he is one of the most respected players in football. Even the opponents looked up to him, because he is also so humble and modest. Iniesta once said, "No matter how successful you are, humility is always important." And he certainly didn't say those words in vain. Iniesta has won the World Cup in 2010, the Euros in 2008 and 2012, he has 4 Champions Leagues, 3 Super Cups, and so many more achievements. Yet he was never the type of person to brag about his trophies or fame. He always remained humble, despite being one of the most successful footballers ever. If more players were like him, the football world would be a better place for everyone. And now, the 7th and final virtue from this video is kindness. And Son Heung-Min takes this virtue to a whole nother level. Kindness is characterized by empathy and compassion towards others. It involves acting with warmth, generosity, and consideration, often without expecting anything in return. Son showed that he has this virtue on a couple of occasions. For instance, in April 2018, he donated $100,000 for rescuing operations in Gosong County. But that's not all. He is always so respectful to everyone, and he is the nicest bloke you'll ever meet. When Andre Gomes suffered a horrible injury because of Son's tech, so I would be interested who represents the 7 heavenly virtues as footballers for you.